4, 3, 2, 1.
We are back, people. How's it going? It's been a long time. The chat room was just informing us, but we have returned. This is episode number 72 of Ironhammers Live. 72. It's quite a number, really. And it's been far longer than 72 days, probably, since we last did a show. But we're back to talk PC gaming. My name is Bobby Goodin, also known throughout the online realm as Ironhammers, and as you can probably see if you're watching the stream, Mr. Daniel Knapman, Hardy Dan, sitting virtually beside me. How the hell are you, man?
Pretty damn good.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, been getting some exercise, feeling good for it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Did some canoeing.
Some canoeing. How was that?
Really hard work. I think I ended up going about 5-6 miles the other day. And now my arms don't work.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Did you feel like Arnie for the next couple of days as well? Like, sort of like, bro, my shoulders are huge.
Yeah.
And it was actually just nothing. Like,
still do.
It was actually just the fact that trying to lift your arm seemed like you were lifting a ton.
Yeah.
I know the feeling, man. I know the feeling. But aside from that, man, in this long hiatus, how the hell have you been?
Yeah, it's been emotional. Yeah.
Have you been missing me, Dan, or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not known what to do with my weekday. Well, my Sunday evenings.
Not the same.
We used to do Tuesdays, didn't we?
We've done quite a few days in the past, haven't
Yeah.
we? But now,
Yeah.
today, it's midnight on a Sunday, UK time, and live on air, if that's alright with you, Dan, that's when it's going to be from now on.
It's fine with me.
Midnight, Sundays. See you here, twitch.tv/Ironhammers. Of course, as ever, we've got quite a bit of good stuff coming up. A little bit of a different format, we're changing it around. What we've been playing will be coming up in a short second. And there's quite a few things to catch up on, I guess, since it's been a little while. But we're going to try not to delve too far back and try and keep it current. And bit of PC gaming news as ever, and then before we go at the end of the show, a new section which is just something that I thought of this morning, or maybe last night at about 3 o'clock, so it probably was this morning, and that is random but nerdy. How do you like that as a section for the show, Dan?
It seems like it fits right in there.
It seems like a perfect ending note, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's just an excuse for us to talk about random shite, such as that in Dan's hand that you just caught a glimpse of. We can talk about that without feeling bad because it's actually got its own section now, Dan.
Cool.
So it works quite well, and I'm pretty sure that everybody listening is a nerd to some degree, right? I mean, the chat room should inform me whether or not I'm correct, but I'm pretty certain, looking at the names in there, that they would all be happy to call themselves nerds. Common Troll says this is his time to shine. So, exactly. So Dan, do you want to go first?
Yeah.
What have you been playing,
What I've
man?
been playing. Yeah, thanks to good old JSS Lifelike over at the Gamesman. He hit me up with a weekend pass for Guild Wars 2 beta a little while ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed that.
You did. See, when I first spoke to you after you just played it, and you weren't too keen, man. What changed?
Yeah, well, I always wanted to try it out before I bought it because I wasn't too sure. I was on the fence, and the first few hours seemed very samey. You know, just like any other MMO. Just, you know, those. I know how to play the game. I don't need you to teach me how to move and stuff like that. It was getting, you know, loads of fetch quests and things.
Press W to go forwards.
Yeah, and then I started getting into it, and story started evolving and my skills started evolving. I just got completely hooked in, and I ended up playing something like 12 hours over the weekend. And I really want to get my hands back on it now. Gonna
When's
have
it
to buy
released?
a
I
day
can't
one
remember.
purchase.
It's not far, is it?
Yeah, definitely gonna have to get that. I can't remember what the release date is now. I'm sure someone in the chat will type it before I can Google
I'm
it.
sure it's like coming up pretty soon, like this month. I could be wrong. Anyway, look,
yeah.
we're so well informed for this return show, aren't we, Dan?
Oh yeah.
Perfectly. But what was it that got you so hooked, man? Was it the story, or was it just MMO syndrome, where you just kind of can't stop playing it?
Well, I've never really been a huge fan of MMOs, but it was a bit of that. It was a bit of just how fantastic it felt, looked, and the Radio Quest system. It was just everything in one nice little package that just spoke to me somehow. You know, it felt like I was playing something that was really good, and the developers put a lot of care and attention into.
Nice, man. So the polish is there.
Yeah, definitely. And
Because
it's
the last beta for an MMO that I tried, the polish certainly wasn't there, and I think we spoke about it on the show, which was Terror. And that was pretty bad.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
You can imagine that Guild Wars 2 will be a whole nother story, and I'm pretty looking forward to it myself. But do you know what I've been playing, Dan?
Yeah, I do, but why don't you tell the listeners?
Well, I'd rather tell you, to be honest. Like, I don't know if
fair enough.
I'm not sure they really want to know. But you probably do, don't you, Dan?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for knowing what you've been playing.
Well, have you heard of a little game called A Virus Named Tom?
Yeah, only because I've seen you playing it on Steam.
I have been playing it on Steam, man, and it is like such a tiny little game, and so much fun. Like, it's a game that's kind of been done sort of before, and it looks like so many things when you first see the videos of it and stuff, but then it's kind of not those things when you play it. But basically, you play a virus named Tom, oddly enough, and there's this kind of Professor X kind of guy. He's called Professor X, I think. It's like really original, and he has been hired by some giant mega corporation, and he's made all these different inventions and shit like that. But then he gets fired, and he wasn't very happy about being fired. And considering he had invented a robotic dog that doesn't poo anywhere, which was quite useful, he wasn't very happy, man. It's understandable. So he created, instead of inventing more robotic type stuff or teleporters or weird stuff, which is all kind of crazy, outlandish, futuristic stuff, he creates a virus named Tom, and you play this virus. And basically, the idea of the game is you move around this little grid, and there's all these like circuit board type sections, and you have to rotate them around so that they all fit up, and then you can power the whole circuit board. It's just like a kind of little puzzly game, and it's just quite fun. But then it adds in a co-op mode, which like doubles the fun, and just like it's just kind of funny because you're constantly like rotating bits around that your co-op partner's already rotated. So like it just gets kind of funny, man. Unfortunately, the co-op is only local at the moment. Apparently, they're adding network playing at a later date if they can. Apparently, the guy created it, called Tim Keenan of Misfits Attic, is the name of his studio, but it's literally him and his wife made the game, I think. And they've done such a good job, man, for what it is. It's just a small little game and so much fun, but the co-op is just so funny, man. It just made me laugh so much. And playing locally, I was playing it with the missus, and we were just laughing because like she's kind of just got everything just right, and she's kind of got it in her mind like this is where we need to place everything, and then I'm going along behind just turning everything back round the other way because I didn't realise that she knew what she was doing. And then the same thing happens, and then you're just like, no, don't move that one, and it gets quite fun. And then they added in a battle mode as well, which is sort of like, have you played a game like you used to play it on like, you know, like mathematical gridded paper?
Oh yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to play it like with my brothers and stuff when we were really young, and you would take turns to draw lines on the page, and you've got to make boxes, and you colour them in your colour. It's similar to that, so you're playing against people. I think you play up to 4 people at a time, and you've got to colour the grid in your thing by drawing a square around, and like the bigger square, the more area you're getting at. But then if you kill one of the other person, their little robot type things, it allows you to then steal their boxes that they've collected already. So that was like just added even more fun. And if you play games locally like multiplayer, then definitely like pick it up, because the co-op is just amazing, and they do such little things, and it has a great way of kind of teaching you what to do by not telling you what to do, if you know what I mean. Like, the levels are designed so well that when they add in because constantly throughout the game it's adding in new little tricks and new little things you can do, and as you get further across through the game, I can't keep a straight face with everyone. I'm talking about my beard in the chat room. But as you get further through the game, every time it introduces something, it doesn't kind of really tell you what to do with it, but it kicks your ass enough to make you learn what to do with it, and it's just a whole lot of fun. So Virus in Time, I think it's like about a tenner online. It's like I suppose the price is a little bit high for what it is, but there's quite a lot of content in there. It's worth it. It's worth it to certain people. It's not everybody's type of game, but I had a whole lot of fun with it.
Cool.
I think that wraps
it sounds
up.
like might have to have a look at that.
Yeah, it's good fun, man. I don't know if there's a demo or anything. There might be a demo. If there's a demo, definitely check it out, because some people just don't like those kind of puzzle games and stuff. But I had so much fun, and like I say, the co-op is just brilliant, and it's the kind of thing where if you got a friend coming over or something, or someone coming over, they don't need to know the game to be able to play you, and like you can play the battle mode, and even if I've played it 100 times before, like I haven't really got that much of an advantage over somebody who's new to the game, and it just made a whole lot of fun. It was just great. We were just laughing. It was fun. Fun. That's what it was.
Fun then.
It was pretty fun.
We both had a bit of fun with the next game, didn't we?
We did have a little fun with the next game. Should we do that one next? That fits quite nicely, doesn't it?
Might as well. Yeah.
It's seen as it's a joint effort. You've played a bit of this, haven't you? It's in closed beta at the moment. Is it still closed? It might be open now. I'm not sure. It was a little while ago when we played.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played it. My internet connection was down at the time, and I was trying to play it over my phone.
You were, and it actually worked.
Yeah.
It did actually work.
Right,
yeah, I will stroke my beard here and wing in the chat. Very slowly. This chat room is too much, man. I don't know what's going down. I guess that's what happens when you get Zero Wing and JSS Lifelike in the same chat room. But Smite from High Res Studios, creators of Global Agenda, creators of Tribes Ascend, Smite being their latest game. And see, I'm kind of interested to hear your take on it, Dan, because it's, just to explain if no one's played it, it's like a MOBA game like League of Legends or Dota or anything like that. But you play it from a third person perspective, so it's kind of like actiony. You have to aim all your shots. You don't just click on things. Like if you're a ranged character, you have to actually aim each shot, even if you're just killing a minion. But you've played a lot more of those, especially League of Legends, than what I have. So for me, it kind of completely captured me because it was different. Like there's something about MOBAs that kind of like puts me off, and I don't know what it is. And I think it's because it's an RTS viewpoint with one character that you're controlling, and it just kind of like makes me feel a bit sick. Just clicking the same character all the time. But from this perspective, it kind of added something completely new. But what did you think, man?
Yeah, it definitely adds a new kind of dimension to the game, and especially when people are sneaking up behind you and you can't actually see it.
Or if you're running away as well, because you can't look behind you, obviously, like you can when it's an overhead view, because you're looking wherever the camera's fixed to whichever way you're facing, isn't it? So
you
if
do
you're
have
like,
slight camera movement in and out, but it doesn't give you much of a heads up.
Yeah, like you can't really see if somebody's chasing behind you how far away they are. So like you're like run away. Whereas normally you can see them like following you, and you can see, oh, I'm just gonna make it. But with this, you really don't have no idea. Just like please get to the tower before they kill me.
And that was one thing that kind of annoyed me at first. It always seemed like I wasn't quite fast enough to get to the tower. I'd always just die just by the tower. But it was really great fun.
Maybe you should have bought some different boots, man.
Sorry?
Just saying, you should have bought some different boots, man. You might.
I should have, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I didn't play enough to kind of learn all of the different items and what builds would be great for characters. But I do like the fact for new players, you've got the auto buy option.
Yeah, I was gonna just about to mention that you can auto level up not only your skills but also your items. So, like you say, if you're completely new to it, then
yeah, it kind of doesn't ruin your game for being a noob.
Yeah, like you're not like not buying anything because you're a noob, if you know what I mean. Like every time you go back to base, if you've got enough money, it will kind of buy something. But
Like that can get a bit annoying when it keeps buying health potions.
it does keep buying health potions. That's quite true.
Yeah.
And apparently the builds that it makes for you aren't necessarily the best, obviously. But it's a good way to ease you into it.
They're kind of like the suggested items in League of Legends.
Basically, yeah, they are just the suggested items. But it is a good feature to have, man. Like because that's quite daunting to a new player. And the good thing is like because it's a third-person viewpoint, it's probably going to draw in a lot of players that aren't really used to that type of game. So like buying items and build orders and stuff is probably completely new to them. So it orders like it's a great way to ease them into it, man. Which is another great feature. But overall, it's like I love it, man. Like I had a little stage where I was playing loads of that game, like in beta, like so much. I was just playing it like all day, every day, pretty much. I just couldn't stop playing, man. And all the they had a bit of a problem with the characters because they're gods from various religions, but they seem to have gotten over that. Apparently, the Hindus weren't too happy. But the high-res guys said, "Don't worry, we're not going to take anybody out. We're just going to add more Hindu gods in the next patch," and that's what they did, I think. It's their game.
Yeah, and yeah, it's great fun. I kind of feel a bit ashamed that I haven't played it enough.
You should play some more with me.
Yeah, I really need to get back into it.
Yeah, if it's I don't know if it's open beta still or closed beta, but if you play MOBAs, this is definitely something to check out because, like you say, it adds so many new things to the game and because they're all kind of the same. Let's admit it, they're all kind of the same.
Yeah.
And this does manage to do something quite different, which is quite nice. Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. So check out the beta, definitely. If it's not open yet, just apply and try and get in if you can. Because Dan got in, I got in. Although I don't know if I gave you a key, I might have done. I can't remember.
Yeah, you gave me a key, and then I gave the key I got to DJ Leroy, who is listening. Damn him.
Oh well. But yeah, Smite from Hi-Res. Check it out. Now we're going to go back in time a little bit. Because Dan and a few other people amongst our little community have been playing a lot of this game, Dan.
Yeah. Playing a huge amount of Dead Island. I think I've clocked up something like 30 hours in the past couple of weeks.
Not bad going. What is it that... Because I didn't hear great things about it when it released like quite a while ago. Like, have they fixed it, or is it just the guys you were playing with, or what was it, man? Like what?
It's a combination. I was playing it with DJ Leroy, JSS Lifelike, and and I've just seen Steve's comment about the beach ball. There's loads of bugs in the game. They're still there. There are community patches, but I haven't bothered with any of those because it's the little bugs in the game that make it so funny.
Really?
Yeah. There was a beach ball. Steve kicked it. He died.
That sounds like a magical moment.
Yeah, I've been playing it with good old Zerum as well. He's in the chat room. And yeah, then Lee kicked it and he died. I kicked it loads, couldn't die.
No matter how much you kick that son bitch. Yeah. Just didn't die.
And then a bit later on there was a quest, and we're driving along, we hear this woman going, "Help, help!" So we go and pick her up. She said, "Help, someone's trapped under the car that's rolled over." So we go over to see this guy stood by the car that's on its roof. And we've got to protect him from these zombies that are coming whilst he's supposedly getting out of the car that he stood next to. So that was quite funny. But the game itself is fantastic. There's some really great things in there, and as you get further on, the storyline actually starts kind of pulling you along a little bit.
Yeah, because I heard the story was pretty bad.
Yeah, and for the first 12 hours, it is, well, maybe not 12 hours, but it feels like 12 hours. But you get to a stage that actually, in the game we're at the moment, we've got to up ahead of that, and it starts kind of picking up, and characters suddenly become a bit more interesting. But for me, it's the kind of RPG style of it. I love that. I love the way you can mod your weapons. I mean, I've got a baseball bat with a circular saw in it, for crying out loud. That's genius.
Should have chosen the beach ball.
Yeah, you can't use that as a weapon.
You can't put the beach ball on the end of your baseball bat?
No, that'd be an insta-kill weapon. That'd be.
Is that OP?
I think they
like?
nerfed that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great fun. Steve and Zero went halves on a 4-pack during the Steam sale, and they kindly gave me a key, and it's so much fun. Really enjoy playing it.
Life likes inform me you found a whole pit full of beach balls.
Oh yeah, there's this supermarket, and there's this big kind of square netted off bit that's just full of beach balls for sale.
Sounds like a pretty treacherous area.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Danny, we stood well clear of that.
Yeah, I'm sure you did, man. I'm sure you did. It's
yeah,
a shame
if
we didn't
anyone's-
come across that one first. It'd have been more funny then.
But yeah, if anyone's unsure about it, it's worth giving it a go. If it's on a sale again, it's well worth buying it.
But do you think it's one of those things where, like, say, if you didn't have like Lifelike and Zero Wing and that to play it with, do you think you would have had any fun with it at all? Like, if you were just playing it on your own or with random people?
If I'd just been playing it on my own, I don't think I'd have got as far as I have. But now I've got to the place where it's kind of getting better. I'm quite happily playing it on my
right.
own.
Nice, man. Nice.
It's got good. It's not just zombies you're killing either.
And Zero Wing's in the chat saying he thinks me and Bobby tried to play Borderlands once and it sucked. We couldn't get it to work. And you think correctly, because to this date I've never been able to play multiplayer Borderlands ever. I've forwarded pretty much every port in the router, and it just doesn't work. It never works.
Sounds good.
Wonderful. Let's hope Borderlands 2 fixes that. I'm pretty certain that it won't be using GameSpy, so we should be safe. I don't know that much. Fine. It's got to be Steam. Surely it's got to be Steam.
Must be.
If not, they've missed something big. I'm pretty sure it is, man. I'm pretty sure it is. But moving away from Dead Island onto one more game that I'm playing, which is the most recent on this list, I think. Apart from Smite, I guess, because it's not out yet, or Guild Wars. But Hero Academy. Have you played it, Dan?
No, never even heard of it. Tell me more.
Well, it's been out for a while on like iOS and Android, I think. I don't know if it's Android, but on some mobile devices. I don't know exactly which ones. But it's like a board game, sort of. Chess-like sort of board game with weapons, and it's all cute, and it's all like little cool characters. On the PC version you get Team Fortress characters on one of the teams, which is quite fun. But yeah, it's kind of like chess. Each unit can move a certain amount of squares per turn, and some range units can shoot from further than others, and some are melee, and some can push other units back on the other team. And, there's different kind of things to it depending on which factions you're playing as, and it is like really fun, and it does the same kind of like Words with Friends turn-based kind of stuff, or Frozen Synapse or something like that, where you can just open up loads of games, and then when there's your turn ready, it lets you go back to that game, and you can just play lots of games at the same time, and it's really addictive. And I haven't played a whole lot of it yet because I only started playing it, I think, yesterday. Like, it just came out a couple of days ago, I think. But yeah, I played a little bit when I got it, and it's good, man. Like, apparently it's been like taken iOS by storm, like sort of when it released a while back. Like, I'd heard of it and heard of people playing it, and it's got cross-platform as well. You can play between people who are on iPhones and stuff, I think. So that's all good stuff. But yeah, it's like one of those little tactical things, easy to start playing, quite difficult to master. You always feel like you're learning something. You always kind of thinking, oh, next time I won't move that guy there if there's one of these guys there, and different units are strong against other units, and as you start to learn the different factions and all that kind of stuff, it's good. But there's one thing that kind of bothers me about it, and it's like, it's £3.99 to buy, I think, to buy the game.
Right.
Which is cheap, like that's cheap for a game, and it's probably due to the fact that it was on iOS before that it's that cheap, because it was probably quite cheap on there too, I would imagine, because iOS games normally are. But there's like 6 factions in the game, but if you buy the game for £3.99 you only get 2 of them to use, like, so you can't play. So I was like, and I didn't realise this at first, like, it does say it, like it was just me being a bit blasé because I got a review code and just put the Steam code in and started playing it, but I was kind of expecting them all to be there, you know, but they were locked when I opened it up and tried to play it. So you get to play as One team which is like kind of like magical type people, I think like wizardy type kind of people, and then you get the Team Fortress team, which I think is obviously exclusive to the Steam version of the game. So, but the other factions are like $3.99 each or something, I think, to buy, and there's 4 more of them. There is a pack. I think you can pay £10.99 and get everything from the start. Like you can buy a pack with all bundled in.
Yeah.
But
On top of the game price.
it's $10.99 for the game and all the factions.
Alright.
So like that's the full game essentially. But no doubt they'll add more factions at a later date. But I don't know if I'm wrong with that price of $3.99 per faction, but I'm pretty certain it was the same cost to buy a new faction as what it is to buy the game, which just seems ridiculous. And I saw some tweets from you can imagine this, the infamous Total Biscuit Twitter feed, where he's normally complaining about something, and he just started playing it shortly after I had, by the sounds of it. And his problem was that you can use your iOS account to log into it. So if you've already got it on iOS, you can just use your old account, and apparently you get all your factions that you had on the iPhone, but apparently on the iTunes the factions are cheaper.
Yeah.
So if you buy the factions on the iPhone and then play it on the PC, you get it cheaper. And that's what Total Biscuit was complaining about, was that kind of understandable that you shouldn't have to pay more because it's on a different platform, really. Especially if it's accessible at that price for people on that platform, you know. It seems a bit...
You just agreed, just reminded me of that Twitter disagreement I had with Total Biscuit over Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, who hasn't? Who doesn't disagree with Total Biscuit?
He actually replied to me, and yeah, it was interesting.
Though, yeah, I can I can kind of concur with him and on this one.
Yeah.
Because it seems a bit
generally he's spot on, but now and then I think he's...
But, yeah, he's normally pretty much on the mark, but I think he's just kind of sometimes way too vocal about it. I don't know. Sometimes it just seems like you don't just have to go for the throat of some little developer because they overlooked something. Do you know what I mean? It just seems silly. They got to learn somehow. It's like with this virus named Tom game. If we go back to this very quickly, for example, it's in 16:9 ratio, and you can't get it into 16:10, and the resolution only goes up to like 1440x900, I think.
Jeez.
I might be wrong. It might go up to 1080. I'm not sure, but whichever way, because I've got a 16:10 monitor, I always had a black box around it. And if I played it by 1280x720, instead of scaling to full screen, it would just fit the screen, and I'd have a big black border all around the edge of it. But for a little game made by a guy and his wife, like, am I going to blow it out of proportion like it's the worst thing in the world ever? Like, no, I'm not.
It's just a little irksome bit of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, and the other nice thing about the small little developers actually is that he's actually read my review of the game that I posted on Ironhammers, and kind of I know firsthand that he's kind of heard what I've said about it, and he's been listening to what other people are saying about it, and he wants to make it better if he can. And yeah, but bitching about Mass Effect 3 on Twitter isn't going to change nothing. But yeah, Hero Academy is pretty fun. I'm not sure about the pricing structure, but if you like turn-based kind of strategical stuff like that, like, it's really cool, man. It's really, really cool. Don't know what else to say. And as I get back into this podcast and stuff, I promise to try and be a bit more articulate when I'm discussing games. But it's been a long time.
We're out of practice.
I'm certainly out of practice. This is your second one today, Dan. You got no fucking excuse, man.
It's my first live one.
Alright, yeah, live is a bit less forgiving. I'll give you that. So on that note, I think me and Dan deserve a little break, man.
Yeah, too, right?
Do you reckon? So we're going to take a very short break. It's going to be a few minutes or so, and when we come back, we'll be talking about a little bit of PC gaming news from this week, and random but nerdy. Dan's got something he wants to show off, I think, in that section. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the stars for a little while. All good stuff to look forward to, guys. We shall be back very, very shortly. Welcome back, guys. Funky little tune for you there. Hope you enjoyed it. But let's get on with some more PC gaming chit chat. And Dan, you're talking in the chat room there. What do vegan zombies say?
Beans.
Oh, I'm glad I asked now. I'm glad I asked. Give me a little giggle. Yeah. Something else that made me smile this week, though. Talking of PC gaming news, Wargame Airland Battle has been announced, Dan. I don't know if you played European Escalation, did you? I don't think you did.
No, I didn't.
You didn't. Shame, because it was fucking awesome. And I still keep going back to it and playing it more. I still haven't finished the campaign 'cause it's pretty difficult, but I keep trying. And it's good fun. So Wargame Airland Battle is going to come out sometime in 2013. There's no date just yet. But I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be set in northern Europe, so there's going to be like a lot of snow, a lot of that kind of stuff. Some new weather system or something, I think, is going to be added. And the name Airland Battle suggests that there's going to be some aerial combat. And there was a teaser trailer launched, and it's got lots of jets. They've added 150 aircraft to it this time. There was lots of aircraft in the last one, but they've added a lot more. And the little teaser trailer was just trailer footage. I think it was kind of sort of taken from in-game footage, but it looked so good, man. So I'm totally looking forward to that one. They've improved the engine, they've improved the iris zoom thing that they've been doing since they made Ruse. And yeah, Wargame European Escalation I love. This is like one of the best RTSs to release recently. And it's, I would say, in that kind of setting, like a modern sort of setting with modern units and stuff, like, it's the best one out there. There isn't a better one than that game. It was amazing. So nice little piece of news there. Wargame Airland Battle. Eyes out for it. Strategists.
Like 750 units now.
Over 750 units, and there was a lot of units in the first one. I don't know how many, but there was a lot. They've added, I think, 4 new countries worth of units, sort of thing, like 4 new militaries, and it has so many units in that game. If you haven't played the first one, it's kind of hard to understand just how many units there are. And you pick a deck of units like before you start, so like you can choose from all the different units, and obviously some take up more supply than others and things like that. But yeah, I love that RTS game. I'm so glad there's a sequel coming out so soon. Some people said it was too soon, but it's going to be 2013 when it comes out. So it's all good, man. It's all good. But some slightly less good news, Dan.
Yeah.
Blizzard had a bit of trouble, didn't they?
Their internal network was compromised and encrypted passwords were stolen.
They were. Cryptographically scrambled passwords was the term they used. I don't know what that means. I don't know how hard that is to uncryptographically.
It depends on the type of encryption they've used, but it could be virtually impossible.
It could be virtually impossible. But yeah, they're scrambled passwords, and they use some other kind of remote protocol or something as well to kind of secure them. I don't understand it. I'm not going to pretend to. But they seem pretty content that the passwords themselves were safe. It was only North American passwords that were stolen. They said no, like credit card info or anything like that apparently was taken. Email addresses from worldwide Battle.net accounts were taken. So they did say keep an eye out for like phishing emails and stuff like that, obviously, because if they've got emails of Battle.net people, they're probably going to use them for something.
Yeah.
And phishing would probably be a good way to use them for them. Not a good way to use it if you're on the end of the phishing line, so to speak.
Cool.
But yeah, it seems to be able to happen to the best of them, Dan.
Oh yeah, and the worst.
And the worst, yeah. It normally happens to the worst of them first.
Yeah, they've got some software updates in the works for the mobile authenticators as well. So
oh yeah, because
it's good to know they're on.
There was also some of that kind of stuff taken as well. I think that was only on the North American server as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going to be sending out all details for anybody that they think needs to update anything. They are recommending that specifically North American server users, which isn't necessarily just people in North America, because a lot of people will play, say, World of Warcraft or something on an American server, even if they're like from the EU. So yeah, if you play on any North American Battle.net servers, you probably want to go and change your password. If you haven't done already, this is pretty big news. Most people will have heard about it, but just in case you haven't, didn't want
just
to
in case we're your only source of PC gaming news.
Just in case.
Sad.
Yeah, and it sucks that people do this stuff, man.
Yeah, yeah. There's probably some teenage kid in his bedroom.
Probably.
Yeah, the next bit we're both quite excited for.
Oh yeah, the list in front of me says can't fucking wait.
It does.
It actually says that. Grid 2, man.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait either.
Announcement of Grid 2. That was some great news when I saw that. Apparently someone had kind of like let onto it that it was coming already, and people kind of already knew. I hadn't seen that news, so it came out of the blue to me.
Yeah, there were a few little teasers here and there.
Yeah. I had heard that, but I hadn't picked up on those. So yeah, it was great news when I saw that. Because Grid is, I don't know about you, I assume you love it, but I know you like your races, but it's one of my favourite racing games, especially on the PC.
In fact, I'm going to be playing it for 24 hours in October.
You are, Dan. You are.
Yeah. My first weekend, I'm going to be driving around Le Mans for 24 hours. To raise money for Extra Life, obviously, not for no reason, but yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
I'm looking forward to Grid 2 coming even more. But yeah, they're going to upgrade all the multiplayer stuff, so it's apparently easier to join into games and stuff, because it was a little bit strange in Grid. But you got to remember, like, Grid's a pretty old game now, man. Like, I don't know when it came out, but it's a good few years old. It's
been quite a long gap between versions.
Especially compared to the Dirt games.
Yeah.
It was like Grid, Dirt, F1, Dirt, F1, Dirt, F1, Dirt, F1, Grid 2. Something like that.
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take a few dirt and F1s. Something like that. But yeah, that's awesome news. It's coming in 2013. They're also going to add their RaceNet type thing. Now, I haven't played the latest F1 game. I don't know if it's in that or whether it's something new. I wasn't sure when I was reading about it. Like,
Do you mean the
sounds like
browser-based F1 game?
No. This is like a I can't remember what they call it now. In the Need for Speed games, like EA have their little like
Yeah, it's,
battle log, auto log,
Codemasters RaceNet or something, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. Does that exist on other games already? Like, does F1
Yeah,
2012 or whatever it is have RaceNet? Like, I didn't know if it was a new RaceNet that they were making specifically for this, or whether they are integrating something that's in one of their last games. Cause
the new F1 doesn't, but there was that
was
Dirt
it Dirt Showdown?
game. Yeah, that's got it in.
Right, so their latest game does have it in.
Yeah, but
so
the
yeah.
F1 Online, the game, the browser-based one, that doesn't have it yet. So it's a new thing just to track all your driving.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be quite good because it sounds like it's going to do the same sort of things as what Autolog does, where it kind of like tells you if your friend's got a faster lap time and stuff, and that always spurs you on to want to play some more. So I can't wait for that. And so, while Grid was a surprise to me, but not so much to people who had seen these little teasers that Dan's talking about, here's something that is no surprise whatsoever.
Yeah.
Ubisoft talking bullshit about PC games again.
Our favourite DRM-infested bastards.
I
Sorry.
I think they are quite fast becoming the enemy of PC gaming, to be quite honest.
Yeah, definitely.
But do you remember back when they announced Assassin's Creed 3, everybody? And do you remember when they said the PC, for the first time, will get Assassin's Creed 3 the same time as the consoles? And I was like, at last, like, you sure you can manage that, Ubisoft? Like, it's not too much to ask? Well, it was too much to ask, apparently, because it's now coming out on November 23rd, which I think is around about a month after it comes out on the consoles. So it's nowhere near as long as what it has been for some of the other games, because I don't know, I think it was Revelations, perhaps, that came out like 8 months or something after it hit the consoles. But
Yeah.
so it's not quite so much. Yeah, I doubt they're going to make great use of that extra month anyway, so they probably should just release it.
Probably, yeah, DRM.
Probably an extra month for DRM, yeah. No.
Yeah.
Gonna do like, you have to actually like plug yourself into the computer the whole time you play just to prove it's a real person playing it or something. Like, you have
I think
to
what
put
they
your
do
cock
is they,
into the DVD drive or something.
they
like.
email you the code and you've got to type it in.
Yeah. That's like that fucking
the whole code for the game.
Yeah, they just like email you in parts, like, and you have to like compile it in Notepad, put it together, and then you can play the game. Yeah, and the extra month is just so that they can work it out for themselves. So I don't know how we're going to work it out. That's not true, believe it or not, but it is true that it's a month late, and yeah, it's just more Ubisoft normal stuff, really, just usual Ubisoft business practice.
Yeah. Damn.
I don't really care.
No.
I couldn't care less, but I just like to hate on Ubisoft a little bit.
Yeah, they're not my favourite at the moment.
Although I assume, it's coming out a month later, but I could just go and play Assassin's Creed 2 now, and it'll probably be the same, right?
Well, there's some really good looking bits
I know.
in Assassin's Creed 3.
There's a lot of people that love Assassin's Creed, I know.
Yeah.
They are the same, though, aren't they?
At least this time, there's areas with trees that actually do have natural limbs instead of all these buildings having these handy little bits that poke out of them.
Yeah, that is kind of useful that they're randomly there, isn't it?
So yeah, it's going to be fun. I'll probably play it at some point, but
you won't play it. Well, I certainly won't be playing it when everyone else does on the consoles.
No, it's
because
definitely not a day one purchase for me.
It's not a day one release purchase for me because it comes out a month after day one.
Well, yeah, but no, on any format.
I know. Yeah, not me either, man, but I know a lot of people that will be. And there's going to be a lot of PC gamers that like Assassin's Creed that are kind of pissed that Ubisoft were talking shit.
Yeah.
I'm kind of pissed and I don't even like Assassin's Creed. Fuck you, Ubisoft. Do you fancy being a bit random and nerdy, Dan?
Why
Because
not?
that's
Why
about all
change
the
a habit
news
of
we've
a
got on the
lifetime?
list. That's all the news we've got. We want to finish on swearing about Ubisoft a little. So what's your random but nerdy stuff tonight, Dan? What do you want to show me?
Well, it's not actually mine, but I've got my hands on Raspberry Pi.
Yay!
And don't know how well that's coming up on the cam because I can't see it yet. But yeah, fantastic credit card sized computer. I basically used it to turn my old dumb TV upstairs into a media center. It's fantastic. It's really good. I was hoping to possibly do the show on it, but yeah, but unfortunately Skype is, well, I couldn't actually get Skype to run on it because, well, there's no build for it that actually exists yet. I'd have to have compiled it myself, which I have no idea how to do. So, but yeah, fantastic. 25 quid. Common Troll's asking what OS it has on it. I basically just got a build of XBMC on this. That's all it's running. But it does come with a Raspberry Pi version of Fedora.
Oh, it is Fedora that it uses.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
knew there was a distro just for it.
Yeah, there are a couple of others out there you can get. They're all really easy to install,
I guess
and it
like
just runs on an SD card.
yeah, I was gonna say I guess like most of the Linux operating systems probably work on it to some extent. Like
Yeah, the Fedora one's been kind of tailored
Yeah, of
specifically
course.
for the ARM chip, and yeah, it's,
oh yeah, it's obviously running ARM, isn't it? Yeah.
fantastic bit of kit. There's the power supply. It runs on a normal phone charger, mini USB, sorry, micro USB, and yeah, fantastic little bit of kit. I love the ethos behind it. The idea is basically to get, poor, low-income families access to computing so their children can learn how to program from an early age. Because unfortunately, at schools at the moment, it seems like everyone's just being taught how to use Word and Excel, not actually how to design stuff. So.
And I
Yeah,
see that little
fantastic
S
idea.
video socket on there. Does it have HDMI or something as well? Or?
Yeah, HDMI as well.
On the other side, I see.
I've been using the RCA port because my TV upstairs doesn't have a HDMI lead, but it's working fantastically. Really good.
How does
dead
it
chuffed
look
with
on
it.
one of those older TVs as well? Like,
Well,
does
with
it look pretty
XBMC,
clear, or?
the menus look a bit fuzzy to the
Yeah.
back, but when you're streaming the video, it looks like DVD quality. Obviously,
Nice.
depending on the quality of the source
file.
material. But yeah, absolutely fantastic, and it draws so little power. You could conceivably have it battery operated. I think it runs off like 3 watts. I can't. It's 7 volts, I guess, roughly.
It's like 3.5 AA batteries or something. 6,
Yeah, something
7,
like that, yeah.
7, 6,
Uh,
something. My
5.
maths is terrible.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. If any of you have any interest in computers, I urge you to go and get one. Go onto raspberrypi.org and there are links there to pre-order it.
And I'll tell you what,
not
man, for
pre-order
like, obviously you're using it just for a media center, like with XBMC on, but for £25 or whatever it costs to get a media center PC, like,
Yeah.
there's no other way you're going to do that for that money, like.
Exactly, and I've got it set up. I'm using my phone as a remote control. I'm going to have a play around with getting on live running on it, so I can give that a go.
Nice, yeah. Have you tried it through the HDMI?
Yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic.
Does it? Have you tried running like a 1080p movie or something? Can it handle it? Like?
Yeah, it streams 1080p flawlessly.
Oh, nice, man.
Absolutely fantastic, and it's got a fair bit of grunt in it actually. I've seen it running Quake,
Oh.
and it looks fantastic. It's got the same kind of graphical grunt as the old Xbox.
Ah.
So,
Yeah, which
yeah,
is
it's
pretty
pretty good for
sufficient.
something that size.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
Yeah, so highly recommend it.
Nice one, man. So finally, and what I'm about to do, and as you might have just heard in the background, are we going to go and look at the stars? Somebody didn't realise I was still podcasting. there's a meteor shower tonight and for the next couple of days. It's kind of reached its peak tonight. So if you're listening live, when you finish listening to this, go outside and look into the sky. It's one of the biggest meteor showers of the year. Well, I think it is the biggest. It comes around once a year at this time of the year. Lots and lots of shooting stars. I saw a few earlier on before we started, and saw a few a bit later just before we started again. We kept going out to see if it was getting dark enough yet, and yeah. Go and look at the meteors. It's always fun to look at the sky and see fire.
The Perseid meteor shower, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Absolutely fantastic.
It is.
And it's one of the best years, actually, for seeing it. The angles and everything, especially for us in the Northern Hemisphere. Unfortunately, it's always been cloudy down here.
It's like we had earlier when we went out, it was kind of like half the sky was cloudy and half was clear, so we were like, yeah, we'll look at that side. But it kind of like pretty much fills the whole sky. I saw them in all directions. Like, if you sit out there long enough, you will see something. Like, definitely, unless it's like black clouds everywhere. And I think it's viewable from like the whole northern hemisphere. So if you're in the States, it might not quite be dark there yet. I don't know. But when it gets dark, head outside and have a look. But aside from that, Dan, have you got any other random but nerdy things you'd like to discuss before we finish this up, so I can get outside?
Well, yeah, the same meteor shower. I've seen some great photos with meteor showers and the International Space Station going past at the same time. It's been absolutely brilliant. I just wish I could see it now, but I can hear the rain. So.
Oh shit, man, that sucks. Hopefully, I'm gonna look. It's not raining here. No, doesn't look like it. It's really dark out there though. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, guys, that's about it for this week. So cheers for coming along and listening. Where can you find Dan if you want to find him online?
Actually, I've been a bit busy. This week, actually last week I was on the OC podcast, so you can catch me on that. And Ironhammers, I'm on, obviously we're back, so I'm on that. I'm always on co-hosting The Gamesman now with Steve pretty much all the time. Well, not all the time, every week. And if you want to hit me up for a game, there's no point in going on my on Xbox Live because I don't use that anymore. Just Steam, put in Hardly Dan. I'm there. Probably playing Dead Island.
What about Twitter, Dan? I heard you use Twitter a little.
Oh yeah, I use that. It's Hardly Dan.
Believe it or not, it's on the screen, guys. At Hardly Dan, go and follow him over there. I am at Ironhammers. And on that note, we'll see you next Sunday at midnight UK time. That works for me.
See you guys.
Bye bye.